Right, guys, welcome back. And today we joined with a special guest to talk about astrology. So, yeah, Gia, welcome. And I'd first like to ask you now, what was life before and after astrology?
I was already a little kid when I found astrology. I found it in a computer game, and I thought, "What's a peace How do you say this?" And it was I asked my parents, and they said, "Oh, Pisces," and then my dad said, "He's a Cancer." My mom said, "She's Sagittarius," or something like that, and then um, and then I got carried away, and I like really lived my life with it, and I really believed it. And growing up, I when I would date a new guy, I would like match our charts to see and like read tarot and ask my friends like to do tarot with me. And we did it at family parties too, like doing tarot cards. And they would say, "Oh, this guy's it's not gonna work out," things like that. And they were always right. So I couldn't dis- discredit that. What about you guys?
I'll start first. Like, I was a kid and I'd often go on my dad's laptop and my mum would leave her emails and it said something about horoscope. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then on my right, on my parents' room, there was this book saying Sagittarius. And I was like, who's got this? I didn't know my parents were into astrology, but then I realized, it's actually my dad's book because he's a Sagittarius. And I thought that was interesting that he wanted to look into astrology. I didn't know that. He didn't tell anyone about it. So it's just something he kept to himself. And yeah, it's something that I didn't really take seriously at first because when people say they're being affected by celestial bodies, it's more, I don't know, it's more like a joke. But now I found it to be very real and it has a huge effect on our lives. What about you, Rowan?
I really don't know when I first discovered it. To be honest, I think it was just happenstance where I was just going about my daily life, and then someone brought up star signs, and I was like, what the hell is that? And they told me what theirs was, and I was like, oh, let me just check what mine is. Taurus. I was like, oh, right, fair enough. I didn't really understand what that meant, what repercussions that had or anything. And then I just decided to do some digging and a bit of research, and then I went a bit deeper into it and realized there were other signs. So you've got your moon sign, your Virgo rising, whatever. And realized there's all these different factors and different star signs that can actually affect you and your behavior. And I've realized that it's a lot deeper of a subject than people seem to make out in the modern day, where a lot of people, yeah, as you say, they just make it as a joke, like, oh, I did this because I'm such a Pisces, or uh, I'm such a Virgo. That's why I drove my car into this house. Uh, um, but they're blaming everything on the star signs, and it's like it's become so memeified that it kind of loses its meaning. But yeah, I essentially realised that it goes a lot deeper than just surface level.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I know. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, when you're blaming on the stars, just being a victim, really. Yeah, that was all really I gotta say.
We were just talking about that too, being a victim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what are the
there,
chances of that?
sorry.
Yeah, I just said, well,
Start.
what are the chances of that happening?
I'm sorry. I have the worst timing, by the way. I always accidentally cut people off, so I apologize in advance. I'm trying not to do it.
perfectly fine. I think we all do it, to be fair. It's growing pains, isn't it? It's growing pains. Just gotta get used to it.
But do you ever meet people who say, "Oh, 12 signs. There's only 12 personalities." It's like they've never done a chart before. Have you met those people?
No.
Yeah, 100%. I think so many people in today's day and age is just like people dismiss astrology and star signs because so many people are using it terribly wrong. Where they don't, no one has actually any full understanding of it. It's just become such a meme that people really don't care to do any digging into it. I think I used this analogy last time. It's like someone discovering biology for the first time and realizing that there's such thing as a bacteria, and just applying that to every single facet of biology to explain everything. So you're not going below the surface essentially, and you're just using one little piece of the puzzle to apply to every single aspect of your life. And then obviously people aren't going to take it seriously because, well, it's faulty to begin with because you're not using something that can cover all bases. Just looking at it from one angle.
Are Cancer and Taurus compatible? They're right next to each other, aren't they? I think, or no?
Cancer and Taurus.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Okay.
No. No, it's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and then Cancer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just kidding. Sorry, wrong channel. I logged into the wrong Zoom call. I should know this. See, I'm not an expert when it comes to astrology. I'm just following along. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
You can edit that out.
Yeah, let's keep you authentic. But
I'm the expert.
Thank goodness.
I'm joking. I'm not really.
neither am I. But I feel like what's interesting is, I'm a Cancer, Rowan's obviously a Taurus, and Gia's a Pisces. And what's interesting is that Cancer's a cardinal, Taurus is one of the fixed signs, and Pisces is mutable. So I find that to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we're all each of one of them.
Yeah.
It's like we're brought together by the stars.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It is crazy. Yeah. Have you done any more digging into like your other signs as well?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think? I had this question. Which one of the signs do you think has the biggest influence over you and your personality? If any.
What is it? What was the last thing? Sorry.
Oh, I said if any.
Oh, definitely Pisces, because I'm like, my chart is mostly Pisces anyway.
Right. Oh, fair. Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I think Taurus is the strongest influencer, to be honest, which is obviously my star sign. But well, I'm trying to think what other signs I actually had. I think I had, was it Pisces in my rising, Virgo rising, which is, I think, to do with your love life. And it more or less really accurately explained how I am in romantic situations, where I fall like head over heels or something. Yeah.
Well, you're a Taurus. You guys are like super committed, right? You guys are like, I'm going to marry this person kind of thing.
Yeah. Often to our detriment. So then coupled with the fact that I've got Pisces in that rising.
Yeah, you're screwed.
It makes it 10. Yeah, it really makes it 10 times worse. It's something I'm trying to work on. And then that leads me to the next question is, how much do you think you can steer off the path of the influence of the star signs and basically cultivate your own way? So like separate yourself from the influence. Do you think that's possible?
Yes, absolutely. I do it all the time. People think I'm a fire sign because I have to put, like, at work, I have to put my business hat on, or at parties, I put my social hat on, and I stop, like, I'm ambivert. So I stopped being like the typical Pisces, moody, like introvert who's like artistic. And then I put on like an analytical hat, and a lot of people know me to be like an organized Nazi. I don't think you can say that on YouTube. An organized person. So
yeah, I wouldn't say that on YouTube, to be honest.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm
Take it out. Sorry, I don't want to get you guys in trouble. But yeah, I think very like I make myself appear like a boring person, but then when people ask about me, they're like, oh, I forgot that you toured in a band. I forgot that your dad was an artist. I forgot that you're like from a family of hippies.
Yeah.
So yeah. But what about like is there a sign that you guys, people assume that you are versus what you actually are?
For me, not really. I'm not really talk to astrology with any of my mates. They won't really have a clue. I actually did speak to them on Wednesday about astrology. They find it to be a meme and that it's not so serious, because there's a lot of girls in the new age now making videos on astrology, and yeah, it seems to be popular nowadays because I think we're in the age of Aquarius where this knowledge is now being shown to people now. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. People don't really ask about my star sign either, to be honest. It's not really a big topic of conversation, I don't think. I think it's quite like, this is not to get sexy. I won't call it sexist, but it's more of a female thing to talk about astrology. And I think I spend a lot more time with males just because of work and things like that. So people don't really talk about that sort of thing. And if you do, you kind of like, oh, it's a bit weird. It's a bit gay, maybe. But the thing is, as I was saying earlier about the memification, like, I think if I was going to talk to someone about astrology, I wouldn't talk about it on a surface level anyway. Like, I wouldn't be saying, oh, can you tell I'm such a Taurus or whatever because of the way I act or whatever. I think I'd have to go deep and think like, oh, how is this particular star alignment affecting me at this moment in time? And it does what it say. So like, say if there's like a, Mercury retrograde or something like that, is that actually affecting me how it should affect me, basically? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that.
So it's like, I wouldn't just talk to someone like, say, oh, are you this, I'm this, blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, here in LA, we're like, oh my gosh, babe, like we'll be gossiping, like, babe, he's such a Capricorn. Every time he does this, it's like, that's like normal here.
Yeah.
Especially among women. I totally get that.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a female thing, which I do tend to think I have some sorts of femininity that manifests in ways such as like being interested in. I think it's weird because obviously it's an occult topic, is astrology, but it's not really discussed like that. It's weird.
It used to be.
Yeah, no, it definitely did used to be, but it's like, it's hard to talk about it like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's too much like stigma. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like, it used to be popular back then, but with the Catholic Church and academia starting to rise up, it started to have its value go down slightly, and it's classed as a quote unquote pseudoscience. So when you speak to people about it, they won't believe in it because it's not real science.
Yeah, it started out a lot of sciences that helped out cosmology. Or is that what it's called?
Cosmology.
So stupid today. Sorry, I just woke up. I'm barely having my coffee. It's not functioning. Please, like, feel free to edit this out. Oh my gosh.
No problem.
I promise you I have a brain. Okay. So.
Yeah.
This is like the worst. This is like a bad first date where you're like, oh my gosh, I said all the bad things.
And this is the podcast with Gia. Sorry, it's only 5 minutes long, but we had to edit. We had to edit 2 hours out.
Is anybody sweating? I'm sweating. No, just
no.
I'm all right, mate, I think.
So yeah, with, like Gia said, with cosmology, a shame with the pronunciation, but that was what astrology was a part of, as well as other sciences, until it had its value go down due to science and not being trustworthy as much.
I've got a question for you, Gia. Quite interesting. Hang on. Let me load up the questions. What do you think, and how do you think you can use astrology to your advantage in day-to-day life?
Personally, the most I've ever used it was for two things. and I would have very specific questions. One is for love, because I used to kind of live my life by love, by like, oh, I would lean more on my relationship than I would lean on other things in my life. So I don't know, I guess I just really valued partnership. And then the other thing was work. Like, am I going to do well in my job today? Or is there going to be a bunch of obstacles I have to deal with? So I kind of wanted to know the answer so that I'm mentally prepared. So I can be ready just in case things hit the fan. So in case things are upside down, I'm prepared. Or I hate the feeling of not being prepared. So like for packing, when I pack, I have an outfit that I want to wear, and then I have a backup outfit in case there's a stain on that outfit. It's kind of like the same idea to me. I don't want any, and I want to be as prepared as possible. I know that's really organized, like next level OCD thing people say, but for me it helps.
Yeah, it's always good to
very
be
interesting.
organized.
Do you think, like from your experience, has that helped you? So when you've looked at say a rundown for the day of what your astrology sign's saying, is it most of the time, is it accurate to your situation? Or do you think you could just be applying it because that's what is, so it's like because a lot of people say, oh, it's just a vague explanation of what's going to happen in the day, and then you basically put confirmation bias on it by doing a certain thing that will just sort of align to what happens. So I'm trying to ask, how much does that apply to that situation? So do you think that you are able to actually get an advantage in the day from using your charts, essentially?
Yes.
And is it valid?
Yes. Okay. Yes to both, because I remember many times where I noticed that I would go to this website that would tell me, oh, the gardener's on this side now. Okay, sorry. I would go to this website that would tell me that this and this was gonna happen, but it happened yesterday. So I noticed it was a day behind. And if I looked ahead, it told me exactly, like word for word, everything that's going on. And I wasn't even trying to look for these things. These things just happen. And I knew ahead that a guy was gonna break up with me. So I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna break up with him. But then it said that there's gonna be a split, and he ended up breaking up with me just because I was like, you know what, maybe it's wrong. And then it said, nope, he's gonna break up with you. And he broke up with me. And it was every single time it's been spot on for me, at least. Have you guys had that?
Yeah, no, it's so interesting because I remember when I was like in university and I had sort of not a relationship, but things were going on between me and a girl. And I think to a certain point, I was like so desperate to know what was going on in the situation that I turned to astrology. And I was reading these like compatibility charts of these star sign, like for my personal star sign, trying to work out what was going on in the situation. And a lot of the time it was accurate to the situation. And it kind of took me by surprise how accurate it was at times. And you kind of place all your faith in it. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what. It's just really interesting to me that there's so many things and so many factors influencing how this could operate. For example, if you believe in the law of attraction, is it the fact that you're reading these sort of these rundowns of what's going to happen in the day, and then you just think that's what's going to happen so devoutly that it actually manifests into real life? Or is it just a direct result of the stars alignment and it's inevitable that it's going to happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never thought of that. Yeah.
I'd say it's a mixture of both.
Yeah,
What
no,
is
it probably is a mixture of both, to be honest. There's countless machinations and operations going on at the same time affected. So yeah, it's really hard for me personally, I think it's really hard to say that astrology is the one defining factor, but then a lot of people claim it is. Do you know what I mean?
What about you, Engombe?
Yeah, for me, I don't really have any examples, although I have a story that my friend, he was with a girl that he liked, and she was interested in him, but didn't want to go out with him because he didn't have the right zodiac sign. So it just goes to show that astrology can be prevalent in people's minds. So yeah, that's my example there. And
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? It's like toxic use of astrology,
yeah,
becoming so over reliant on it and so like treating it like a religion to the point where everything you do is dictated by what the stars are saying on that particular day. Like, but then it's really hard to say because you could then argue that that is happening because of the stars. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like which is the cause and which is the effect.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
where's the cause and effect coming from? Is it a direct cause of the stars making it happen, or is it you thinking that it's going to happen, so you make it happen?
Yeah. But do you ever meet people that you find out they're some sort of sign,
Yeah,
and then you realize like we're not gonna get along, and then you actually do try to get to know them, and then you can't. It's
Yeah.
hard.
well, that's funny actually because at my work, someone who I was like really close with, he's left now, but we were just like really close and we got along so well. And he was interested in astrology, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a Taurus." And I was like, "No way, I'm a Taurus as well." But he's born the day, like 2 days before me, the year before. And also, one of my best friends, who I've been best mates with since about good 6-7 years, he's born on the exact same day as me the year before. So it's like it's weird how a lot of people in my life that I'm like naturally close with, it's not like I have to force the relationship. Like if I just saw them randomly, I know I'd get along with them. That there wouldn't be any hiccups in the conversation, or the interaction would just have a good time, just naturally. And it's usually when they are the same star sign as me, which is a bit weird, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because sorry, go on.
yeah, it just happens organically. But Jay, I have a question for you. You know, what are your thoughts on New Age astrology?
What can you define New Age astrology? Like the TikTok astrology? Or
Yeah, that in particular.
TikTok astrology.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% certain because I haven't really looked into it. I do see like those Instagram and TikTok accounts that say, guess what guy's sign this is? And then she'll describe him. And then I'll say, oh, that's a Virgo. And then it ends up being a Virgo. So I don't know. I've only seen like a few accounts because I don't seek them out. Otherwise, I don't really pay attention to too much New Age astrology. I literally look at like the moon phases and the stars. So like I'll tell you, this week this is gonna happen, or like there will be some sort of like motherly rush coming in this week or something like that. But I don't pay attention to like TikTokers telling me, oh, Pisces, you better watch out today because this and this, because I haven't seen those accounts personally. Like I don't seek them out, so I'm not 100% certain. I don't have much information. Is that an answer?
No, that's completely fair. That's completely fair. Yeah. I've got a question. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this. I don't think many people have an answer, but I've heard people talk about this before, where they believe that, you know, the chakra system within humans that people talk about a lot. They think it's the stars and the planets are basically a macro representation, so like a bigger version of the chakra system of humans. So it's like, you know, as above, so below, that sort of thinking. It's like whatever is here is an extension of there. Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you ever thought that could be the case?
I haven't thought about that. I have to say I'm quite myopic when it comes to astrology. I only stick to like what I knew, and I never really ventured out. But the times that I did venture into Eastern, like hard, like before Mesopotamian, or not before Mesopotamian, but further east than Mesopotamia is Chinese astrology. So I can't say much for chakra, but I can say a little bit, or the little I know.
yeah.
This is gonna be a 5-minute podcast, I swear.
What year were you born in Chinese astrology?
1995, so I'm the boar, the pig.
The boar, the pig. What
Have
about
you
you, Engombe?
Me, I'm the year of the horse.
Year of
So,
the
yeah.
horse.
Yes.
That's a weird year.
Yeah, it is.
I'm the tiger, which is quite ironic because my favorite animals are tigers. I like tigers.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And this year itself is the year of the tiger.
Is it? Oh, is
Yeah,
it? I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Yo, it's my year.
Oh, yeah, huh? What's this year? It's like year of the monkey or something.
This year,
Yeah.
the tiger.
Tired also?
Yeah.
You guys are so caught up.
Honestly, yeah. I don't know. It's all very confusing, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there.
That's the thing. I think that's why it makes it so hard to discern what is like valid astrology and what's just pseudo astrology, if that's even a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, what do you guys think of New Age astrology?
What astrology?
Of New Age, like TikTok people astrology.
I find it funny actually. Just lots of people don't have a clue what they're talking about. That's how I see it. Yeah, it's kind of solidifying astrology as a meme and something not to take seriously.
Yeah.
I think it's quite cute though that it's sort of come back into prominence. Like people are actually talking about astrology again. It's really bizarre to me how there's been such a obviously it's been memeified, so I can understand it to a degree. But I feel like there is some sort of push to force astrology out of the mainstream consciousness, where they just want people to believe in the hard science with like big tech and big pharma and things like that, and then there's like occult sciences are sort of just shunned, most likely so people can keep the knowledge for themselves. I don't.
Yeah, I think they're really close-minded, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
like even like I don't know if you guys saw the Discord, the like talking about Christianity, just like there's only one Christianity, and I was like, wait, but what about this map that says they broke off into sects? You know, there's different understandings.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like I think there's so many different texts and so many different religions you could find actual truth in, but it's really hard to. I think just in general, in today's day and age, there's so much information. It's really hard to figure out what is the truth. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I agree completely. Like religions have their own story, so you kind of have to take it as a glance and see if you can make it your own. But all the stories are very similar, so you know,
Yeah.
for the truth, you kind of have to take each one and see how it is. That's why you often see people shift from one religion to another, because what information that resonates with them may not resonate in another religion also. So yeah, I get that completely. And I feel like, astrology rising is partly to do with the rise in nihilism. Yeah. It's more spirituality is kind of gone up. It's more of a trend. Yes.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of it like came to the forefront when there was like that. I don't know if people remember it in 2020 was like that new age push where just so many people came out of the woodwork with like spirituality and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was like Von Two Cut and things like that where I don't know if you know Von Two Cut.
No, I don't know.
Spiritual Soul.
Yeah.
You know Spiritual Soul?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, where it's just like it came out of the woodwork and everyone started talking about it all at the same time, and it just becomes memeified again and again. I think, which is really interesting. I've got another question here as well, because you do a bit of tarot, don't you?
Yes.
So, how would you go about doing a tarot reading, and what do you think is more accurate out of astrology and tarot?
I think definitely astrology. Like tarot for me is more fun. And like if I have a certain question that's specific or in the mood it's tarot. But if I have like a real question, it's astrology. If I have like a real serious thing I want to see, I think it does. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. But I think like you use both hand in hand.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. So if you wanted to find something out about a situation, you'd use tarot because it's quicker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. Or instead of like looking at the stars or like what's today, October. So I think like, well, specifically when I'm using tarot, I use astrology. But when I use astrology, I only use astrology. That's it.
Yeah. Do you ever like wonder what forces are influencing tarot, and does that ever scare you?
Yeah, I wonder all the time because there is one of my family members who absolutely hates it and says, wait, so if you want a different answer, then all you have to do is a different reading. And I said, well, when you read the cards, you read them literally. Like death doesn't actually mean death. It means something new is coming. So I think that you'll find similar answers if you know what to look for, if you know what to read, and if you understand the situation a little better. Because people, when they go into tarot, they really are thinking about something. They really have a deep question, and they already have kind of a picture in their head of what's going on. And then they see from the cards, you know what? I don't think this is gonna go the right way. Where there's like a lot of tarot readers who are like psychics and they want your money, and or they want like, they'll say, you know what, like they'll talk really quickly about your situation, but then they'll give you the solution really quickly because they want $100 from you and say, oh, you have a curse, I'll release it for you for $100. It's like, what? For me, it's like there's no money involved, and for me, it's like I'm genuinely curious of what's going to happen. So that's for tarot for me.
Yeah. I think that really has like destroyed that sort of occult practice with like astrology and tarot. Is people just trying to swindle people out of a lot of money? Like I get emails all the time where it's like, oh, I don't know why, to be honest. I'm not sure if someone's got a hold of my data and found out that I was looking at some astrology charts or something a few months ago. But I just always get emails from random people trying to sell me astrology charts and things like that. It'd be like £500 for a reading, and I'm like, it seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, and I don't look at people up and down and think, you seem like this kind of person, this is what's gonna happen. I just look at the cards. That's it.
Yeah.
Or the stars.
Do you think there are genuine people though that are psychics?
Psychics, I think they're more readers is the word personally, because like I'm a Pisces, so we're really good at, like, I notice usually water signs are really good at being empathetic, so they can like listen to your plight and like kind of really, you know how when you have like that blink feeling when you get an impression of someone, like, oh, this person is dodgy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I think we have that for a lot of people. So I think they're more readers rather than psychics who see into the future. But people can tell you by, sometimes people ask a question and they'll tell you, I really want to break up with this guy, but I want to know if it's a good time. But you know they're going to break up with him anyway. They say, oh, it's not going to work out. So I think that's how psychics kind of read you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so, see, that's the thing. Like, I've gone to see psychics a couple of times, and usually they'll say something that's quite vague, but it is applicable. But then there has been times where they've said something, and I'm like, how would you know that? Do you know what I mean? So it's really hard to discern. But yeah, like you say, it could be them just trying to make a quick assessment of how you seem to behave, and then thinking, oh, he's probably going to behave like this in the future, or this is what happened to him because of what he said.
So with a psychic, have you ever gone to them and like communicated with the dead ever?
No.
Okay. Because that's the kind of thing.
Well, I went to see one and she was like, oh, I am getting someone trying to speak to you from the dead. And it was like my granddad or something like that. But then she was like, oh, I'm going to try and work out his name now. And she said all the wrong names, so I don't know how true it was.
Very inaccurate.
Does it start with a J?
Yeah, no, it doesn't start with a J. No. Keep going. Well, you're almost there.
Yeah, well, that psychic's a fraud.
Yeah. I need my money back.
How much did you pay?
I think about 30 quid.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
bad at all, is it really? But then I went back like twice more, so almost 100 quid.
Yeah.
I think it is to some degree. Some people use it. I'm not saying you do, Gia, but it's like a form of desperation that gives you a sense of control over things. But like you say, like you can use it to your advantage, or you can do it from a place where you're like, oh, I've got nowhere left to turn. Let's go to a psychic tarot reader and see what they say I should do.
Yeah,
It kind of makes you feel a bit safer, I think.
Yeah, up here for
Yeah.
sure. There are times where I understand what you're saying, where I've been super desperate in a relationship, but I was like, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So, like, it's terrible. Yeah. Me too. Are you drinking anything, Engombe?
No, I've got nothing. Yeah.
What are you drinking, Gia? Is that tea?
Coffee.
Coffee. Oh yeah, you said.
Yeah.
What coffee is it? Is it just
It's
black?
it's like it has some cream in it. It's a really cheap Colombian coffee, but it's the strongest.
Right?
Yeah,
Keeps
coffee's
you going all day.
horrible.
How much do you drink?
Oh, I drink like 4 espressi a day. So
Espresso.
yes.
What's this
Yes,
espresso?
Espresso.
Yeah, espresso.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought that might have been like an American thing.
a different coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Espresso. Probably.
That's a
It's
lot
all
of
right.
caffeine.
It's better than calling it espresso. My dad does that where he says words like he'll try to pronounce them, but he pronounces it completely wrong. I think he does it intentionally, to be honest. Like you have you know Chipotle in America.
Yeah.
He calls it Chipotle.
Chipotle.
And then there's like espresso, he calls it espresso.
Espresso. Yeah, he probably does it on purpose.
Yeah. I think he
Chocolate
does.
mousse.
I think he does. The amount he does it's kind of like, yeah, he's probably doing it on purpose, to be honest.
Yeah, my Israeli friends say chocolate mouse instead of chocolate mousse.
I mean, that makes sense though, really, doesn't it? Because it looks similar. It looks like
Yeah.
the same word.
Just an extra no.
What is it?
Just an
What's
extra.
that?
Just an extra O in the letter.
Is it an extra O? I thought it was an extra
Yeah.
S.
Oh,
I
is
don't
it?
know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm right, I think.
All right, mate. Chill out.
So yeah.
I've got another question, I think, Gia. So, do you think there'll be a big shift in the Earth's, or like everyone's consciousness as we move further into the age of Aquarius?
Definitely yes, personally, only because I'm so close to Aquarius, so I see it all the time when people do shift. There's so much. So this is a loaded question. I definitely see it personally, and I notice that other people don't notice it, even those who are super into astrology, especially New Age astrology people. Like, I see it a lot. When I go to, say, like social functions, I can definitely see that people are a bit more open, a bit more friendly, and more than usual as of late. Rather, I don't know if it has to do with times, if it is the stars, or if like what's going on with the news and people are like desperate to, I don't know if it's because of, I can't say the word on YouTube, that people are coming out, but I think it definitely helps the situation. Like the roaring 20s kind of situation, I think that is part of it. And I think it like really highlights the age into Aquarius, personally, I think. Anyway, what about you guys?
Yeah, I'll start. I think personally, I'll have to agree with what you said. You know, we've all had awakenings at this period. You know, I certainly did, and I realised, you know, this reality is not what I think it is, and using astrology from decoding reality has definitely helped me open up my eyes to what this is really like. Obviously, you know, people are starting to wake up. Even like the self-improvement scene is going to be rising, and it's all going to get better. But there will be people that will be in the dumps, but look, that's them. And yeah, there's nothing you can do there. But as for us guys, we keep rising up through this age to have the best lives that we can. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, yeah, it's like a period where people are getting separated into groups of believing a certain narrative or believing another narrative. There's a very big division, I think, at the minute. But I think that's to the benefit of a lot of people who are waking up and realising that perhaps what they've been told on the big stage isn't always true, and a lot of it's a distraction. I think more and more people are like separating it away from politics and just like celebrity drama and things like that. I think it's a very polarizing time, and there's a lot of people that are going deeper into it. But for the amount of people that are going deeper into it, there's a greater amount of people that are just separating away from it. Like even my mum, say, like I tried to get through to her about all the narratives and things going on. And I just tell her like not to watch the news as much because it's really detrimental to your mental health. I just think it's quite fear mongering most of the time, and it just makes you more depressed. And I think she is actually internalizing that now, and she's not really investing in it as much, which is a good thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That is, yeah, waking up other people in this age, and more people will wake up soon enough. And yeah, man, your mum's the start of other people to finally realize that, hang on, we want your life under control, so change it.
Yeah. I think it's quite hard as well, to be honest, because there's always growing pains where like now I'm starting to more firmly believe in what I believe in, that people around me who I was close to before, I really don't have that much in common with them anymore, because they all believe one sort of way of thinking, and I don't really assign to that way of thinking. So it's kind of, it's bittersweet, really. But yeah.
What about you, Gia?
As opposed like to like your mom or to his mom, to Rowan's mom. Like, am I noticing people?
Yeah, you're noticing people waking up in a sense.
Yes, I have to agree. There's a hard bifurcation where if you go one way, it is polarizing. You really go the other way.
Yeah.
It's harder to connect with people also because everybody thinks they're right and nobody wants to be told they're wrong. Where I'm always trying to see their side at least. So, or I can see like my family where they're coming from, my friends where they're coming from, and so it makes me kind of close off to them a little bit when we don't agree, but I'm still there, but it's not like at my fullest capacity, I feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't change how I feel about them. I don't lose respect.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, like they're still my friends at the end of the day, and I'll still happily go for a drink with them and see them all the time. But it's just, it feels a bit uneasy at times where they're all talking about a particular subject, and I'm like, I don't agree with what they're going to say, and I'm just trying my best to not speak up about it. And I think that kind of hurts on a soul level in a way, because it's like you're not standing up for what you believe in, but it's either you sacrifice, because there has been times where I've kicked off about a certain situation. And looking back, I'm like, I wish I hadn't done it, because it's petty at the end of the day. And I really think it's better to just accept it for what it is and just realize that you should believe in what you believe in. It doesn't take away from connections and things that you've made in the past. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also don't believe in like vehemently correcting people.
No.
Because the confrontation isn't worth it. You're right. As you said, at the end of the day, it's more expensive, the damage, to fix it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Have you guys been making new friends lately? Is that okay to ask?
We're trying to insinuate. Do you guys Do you guys actually have any friends? No, yeah. The thing is, for the most part, all I do is work, and then I go out and play football and things. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I do have people that I see every now and then, but to be fair, socially, I haven't been as social as I'd have liked to be. I went to university and I spent 3 years there, and all I was doing was just spending time with my friends and socializing. So I think, in a way, it's nice at the minute. I think at the minute I'm just enjoying a bit of me time. You know what I mean? Where I'm not trying to go out and socialize all the time.
Yeah, I'm the same really. I don't really socialize as much as I used to. I don't really know why, but it's just happened. And you just really want to focus on yourself, looking to improve yourself, and from time to time you can see friends. Like I'm at uni, so I'll still see people every now and then, but out of that space I don't really socialize as much as I used to do. Yeah.
What I do like doing is I like going to, like, say, the sauna, and I'll just have a conversation with whoever's in there. I like having impromptu conversations, I'd say. Because no, but it's always nice, isn't it? It's always nice, like you'll figure out, like, the sauna is almost a confessional space.
Yeah.
It feels separate from the rest of real life, so you can talk about whatever the fuck you want in there. Sorry for swearing.
No, that's fine.
But, like, people will really express themselves in a sauna. It's like you've literally just walked into a confession room and you're like, oh, this is how I think about this. And then you'll be like, no, I think about that too. Do you know what I mean? It kind of feels like a separate echo chamber.
Yeah.
Where you can just talk about whatever with no rules or regulations. It's very quiet. I don't know if that's like a psychological thing. It must be.
Well, because you're naked. You're already naked. Why not?
Naked? I'm not naked in the sauna. Are you naked in the sauna?
Yeah. I lived in Copenhagen and everyone's nude.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, they don't do that over here.
Nah.
I've never tried that. I'll have to try it. The only thing is, a lot of people in the sauna are usually quite old, so I don't really want to see dinkly balls or.
Really? They're old?
Well, not really. Yeah, but a lot of people that I see, 60, in the saunas.
Fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't want to be naked in a sauna with, other people. I mean, look at how weak men are in society with prawn and that. If they see many naked people, I mean, we know what happens next.
Well.
So with 60-year-olds, do they give you advice on things?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Well, I had a conversation with I went to a coffee shop the other day, just on my own. I started doing this where I'll just go out to a coffee shop on my own and do some, like, work on my laptop. But I'll just have a conversation with whoever's there, and I was having a conversation with this older woman who was like an artist for all her life. It was just really nice to get her perspective on things, like someone that's lived a life of an artist, and then retired, and now you get to see what she's doing with her life. It's just it's comforting almost.
Yeah, I think the best people to talk to are the people who are divorced 3 times,
Yeah,
did a lot of things. They're the best people to sit next to at dinner.
100%. Because they're not bitter either most of the time. They've come out and they've been through that hardship, and they've realized that, yeah, you can still live. You know what I mean? You can go out and just do whatever you want. You don't have to just sit around and be bitter all the time.
Yeah, they have all the funny stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't make their mistakes and don't get divorced.
Yeah. I often think that, like, I've always had this idea that I want to become enlightened, quote unquote. Everyone's like talking about enlightenment and things like that, and becoming the next Buddha. But then I'm like, well, there's no point doing that now. I might as well do that when I'm like 80. You know what I mean? No, but like when I've lived life and I've done everything, then I can just sit down and meditate for hours on end. You know what I mean?
Just be in nature all day.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Have you guys got anything else to talk about, or unless we can just wrap up?
I've got nothing to say about. Not in less than a minute anyway.
Yeah, so it's been a good episode. So yeah.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been quite funny, to be fair. So yeah. Thanks for sticking by, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.